What is going on, Summoners? We're back here today with another Champion Deep Dive. Today, we're talking about Kindred. So sit back and relax, cause it's time to get into it. Kindred enters the contest filled with fierce contempt, making them immune to all Infuriate, Intimidate, Incinerate, Poison, and Heal Block effects. They also come fully equipped with bugs. These bugs, and strike their opponent with Centipedes on their medium attacks, fourth light attack, and heavy attack. When this happens, they inflict an atrophy passive on the opponent, reducing the duration of any new buffs by 30% for 8 seconds. This maxes out at 3 stacks. Kindred inflicts an infestation charge on the opponent every 2.5 seconds. This also happens whenever contact is made with Kindred, or when a buff expires off of the opponent. While defending, if Kindred is struck by a special attack while attacking, they inflict 10 charges. But if Kindred is struck while recovering from a special attack, infestation charges pause for 8 seconds and cannot be inflicted in any way. This happens for 14 seconds against Spider-Verse heroes. Now, when Kindred inflicts 50 infestation charges, they inflict a Nightmare Outbreak passive for 18 seconds, causing nearby opponents to be inflicted with a Degeneration passive every 0.5 seconds, dealing direct damage and scaling with base attack only. This maxes out at 5 stacks, and once the opponent is out of range, they lose 1 degen every 0.2 seconds. While these personal degen effects are on the opponent, Kindred regenerates 0.75% of his missing health every 0.5 seconds. Also, if Kindred is struck by a heavy attack, Nightmare Outbreak expires 70% faster. And once it expires, all infestation charges are consumed. Now, charging a heavy attack consumes 30% of a bar of power to activate Dread Aura for 6 seconds. This is not affected by ability accuracy, and while it's active, Kindred gains stun immunity and fights more aggressively. Also, infestation charges are now inflicted every 0.75 seconds, and the amount of charges inflicted from any source is doubled. While defending, Kindred activates Dread Aura automatically at no power cost each time he loses 25% of his max health. Now, let's check out their special attacks. When Kindred inflicts 5 or more infestation charges at once by landing special attacks, they inflict a burst of direct damage per passive degen on the opponent and pauses Nightmare Outbreak for 2 seconds. The Special 1. The first hit of this attack is a Centipede Strike. The final hit inflicts 5 infestation charges and a degeneration debuff dealing direct damage over 14 seconds. During Nightmare Outbreak, while this debuff is active, Kindred's passive degens are prevented from falling off. With the Special 2, the first and final hit inflict 5 infestation charges. Additionally, each hit in between strikes the opponent with Centipedes. If Dread Aura is active, during this attack, Kindred steals 6% of a bar of power every second and gains 150% of the power stolen. The Special 3. This attack gains increased attack rating, and if the opponent is suffering from Nightmare Outbreak, this attack gains even more additional attack. Now, let's check out their signature ability. When awakened, Kindred's degen potency is increased by up to 80% based on missing health. Additionally, when brought to 5% health, Kindred inflicts a root passive on the opponent for up to 6 seconds. If this is triggered during the opponent's special attack, this root triggers when the special attack ends. And while it's active, Kindred is prevented from being knocked out. Also, upon activating this root, Dread Aura is activated at no power cost. And if the opponent has at least 30 infestation charges, they're inflicted with Nightmare Outbreak as well. Now let's see those Centipedes in action in the champion rotation. To begin, strike the opponent to build your infestation charges. Make sure to attack with your Centipede so your atrophy stays maxed out at 3 stacks to control your opponent's buffs. Now, once you've reached about 50 charges, perform a heavy attack to trigger Dread Aura and launch your Special 2 to trigger Nightmare Outbreak and steal your opponent's power while bursting them down with instant Degen. From here, immediately launch your Special 1 to inflict your Degen debuff and lock in your Degen passives. The key here is to stay aggressive. If the fight's almost over, launch another Special 1. But if it's a longer fight, build back above a Special 2, then perform your heavy attack when Nightmare Outbreak expires and launch to set your opponent spiraling back into a brand new nightmare. Keep in mind, as a Mystic champion, Kindred benefits very highly from the Mystic Dispersion Mastery, allowing them to punish high buff matchups and repeatedly launch special attacks to keep their nightmare paused and have the opponent begging for mercy. Oh yeah, and if things go south, don't worry, because the fight's not over until Kindred says the fight is over. Now, let's check out some of their notable synergies. Dinner Party. With Silk, Spider-Man Classic, or Miles Morales on the team, Kindred gains 10% increased Degen potency. Compound Madness. With Green Goblin, Red Goblin, or Iron Patriot on the team, Kindred gains an unstoppable buff for 7 seconds when Nightmare Outbreak begins. With Green Goblin, he gains 10% combat power rate while under a bar of power. With Red Goblin, he gains a non-stacking 20% energize buff for 5 seconds when charging a heavy attack. And as for Iron Patriot, when gaining an armor up buff, he has a 30% chance to inflict a physical vulnerability debuff on the opponent for 12 seconds. Revenant Birth. With Mephisto on the team, activating Dread Aura grants Kindred an unblockable passive for 3 seconds. This has a cooldown of 20 seconds. Did you see a synergy that made your skin crawl? Thinking of a new synergy team? Let us know your thoughts below, and let's discuss. Thank you for watching this Champion Deep Dive for Kindred. And hey, if you liked the video and want to see more, click subscribe, like, comment, and share. And remember, we'll see you in the Battle Realm!